Welcome everyone to another Lessons with Luismenverg. I am your host as always, Izzy von Luismenverg, and today we're talking about another environment. That's right, baby. The biggest environment of them all. The ocean. The ocean is a large body of salt water that wraps around the entire globe. It's divided into 5 main sections: the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, the Arctic, and the Southern Ocean. There's also several seas, which are like smaller sections of salt water, like the Red Sea or the Mediterranean. So, why is the ocean salty? Well, where does salt come from? That's right, salt is a mineral, of course, and rivers are full of minerals, so when rivers dump into the sea, they carry salt into them. Rain can also gather salt when it corrodes rocks, and that runs off into the sea too, and the ocean's just full of salt deposits anyway, which also brings up its salinity. Either way, ocean is too salty to drink. That doesn't mean it's a dead zone, far from it, as not only does most of the life on Earth live in the ocean, but it's actually where all life started off from, as a matter of fact. As everything on Earth started off as single cells swimming in the depths of the ocean until we started to diversify and gain our land legs. Though some never did, and some decided they don't want land legs anymore. The ocean is home to many different sections that contain many different types of life. There's open oceans, which is nothing but water no matter where you look. This is home to large animals like swordfish, tuna, large sharks, and whales. There's coral reefs, large masses of coral that form an ecosystem. And these are some of the most secure parts of the ocean, as coral provides a place to live, and since it's sharp, a lot of large animals don't go there. There's coastal areas, where the water is far shallower, making it the ideal place for semi-aquatic animals like seals, penguins, and birds. And then there's the abyss, which is so deep sunlight doesn't reach. Because of that, most animals have developed either bioluminescence to take advantage of the darkness to gather prey, and some animals have straight up lost their sense of sight down there. And there's polar waters, which are just as cold, if not colder than the land, so you'd need either fur or blubber or antifreeze in your blood to survive. Now let's get into the big thing about the ocean. It's one of the least well understood places on Earth. Currently, humans have only mapped out 5% of the ocean. We've explored more of the moon and Mars than the ocean. Part of the issue of exploring the ocean is simply that we're terrestrial animals. We weren't built for marine exploration. But the bigger issue is pressure. You see, the deeper you go, the more water is on top of you, and eventually it weighs down on you so much that if you're not prepared, you get crushed like a tin can. So it took many years to make something that could survive the pressure of the deepest parts of the ocean. The ocean can also be quite dangerous. Let's talk about waves. Because of a combination of factors like wind and the moon's gravity, the ocean is constantly on the move, and this manifests in bulge of waters called waves. They're often seen closer to shore, but they can happen in the middle of the ocean too. And sometimes waves can get really bad. There's tidal waves, for example, which are giant walls of water. And then there's tsunamis. They're often mistaken to be synonyms, but they're not. Tsunamis are the result of some sort of disruption, like an earthquake or volcano eruption, which causes a lot of water to come to land. And, well, you can imagine what happens next. And, of course, there's hurricanes, typhoons, and all sorts of nasty things. Whenever these things happen, they cause a lot of damage and a lot of loss of life, usually. Now, despite how horrifying the ocean can be, it still played an important part in our history. As despite not being drinkable, it's provided us with food for millennia, and many cultures became seafaring, like Scandinavia or Polynesia, allowing them to do things like discover land masses and conduct trades with far-off lands. Plus, people like visiting the ocean for fun. So yeah, the ocean. It's beautiful, powerful, mysterious. It's a lot of things, but the one thing we can all agree on, the ocean's made of water, and it's full of salt. And also, sharks are cool. I don't care what anyone says. I like my nephew. He always preaches that fact, so I'm preaching it too. Well, everyone, that's been Lessons of Luismenverg. See you guys next time for another lecture. Don't know what I'll talk about then, though. Well, goodbye, everybody.